Hey everybody, and welcome to my channel, Trevor Doodles, where I draw for you. I'm Trevor, and I like to draw. And gosh, I tried to post one earlier this week, but I totally messed it up in editing. I'm still learning how to use this editing software, and when I loaded it to YouTube, it was just a bunch of squeaks and whistles, so I had to start all over again. So hopefully this one works. If you're seeing this, it did. So let's get on with the show. So let's see what is going on in the world today. So the other day I was reading an article. It's one of those get advice kind of things, you know, like Pat Robertson. You like write in and you ask them a question about something going on in your life, and you know what's the proper thing to do, how to do this. But this wasn't the 700 Club or anything like that. It was just an article where they help people. You just ask them questions, what's going on in your life, and this was the question. I mean, so freaking bizarre. So I'm not going to read the whole article, but I am going to read the email that this woman sent to these people. Okay, my husband is turning me off. We've been married for 2 months. What should I do? He wears white briefs. When I was washing the clothes, the whole seat of his underwear had brown stains in them. It made me sick. Then once I was riding him, then after we were done and got up, there was a brown streak where his butt had been on the bed. So I finally got some personal cleaning cloths and put them on top of the toilet. He never touched them. I finally mentioned the personal cleaning cloths. He got upset and screamed in my face. He told me that real men don't go in between their cheeks or separate them open for anything. Men do not spread their cheeks to wipe or clean. Nothing goes between them. Oh my God. What needs to happen here? Suggestions? Advice? No bashing, please. Holy crap. That is a real thing that somebody's really doing. Is homophobia really gone that far? I mean, think about this guy. He's not afraid of gay people. He's afraid of himself becoming gay. So, in my mind, I'm thinking, I mean, that's pretty extreme, not wiping your own butt. So I'm thinking his mental ability to repress his homosexual feelings and desires, to keep them all out of his sight and out of his mind, is so strange that even the sensation that of just toilet paper brushing against his anus, that whole deck of cards would fall apart and he would be overrun with a rush of homosexual desire that he can't control. That's what I think is going on in this guy's head. That is so incredibly severe. He won't wipe or wash between his butt cheeks. That is so disgusting. Ugh. What is going on in the world? Why is it so horrible to be anything kind of gay or express anything between another man? Ugh. Good Lord. I don't know what to think about that. That's freaking hilarious. It's also really sad. I don't know what to think. But moving on to the next subject. Good Lord. That is terrible. Oh, Muriel, that is terrible. And, well, since we're on the subject of homosexuality, I've read several posts this week on Facebook, people asking, why are gay people so mean? And I've given it some thought over the past couple of days, and my thoughts are basically this. People who are afraid for a long enough period of time stop noticing that they're afraid. And it's just like, you just don't smell it anymore. Like when you're in a room that stinks, after a while you just don't smell it anymore. And after a long time, fear turns into anger. And I think that's why a lot of gay people are mean, because they've been dealing with fear for so long that it's made them angry. And one thing I know for certain, people who are afraid can be quite vicious. So my advice on that front, if you're around somebody who's gay and they're being mean and vicious, just keep in mind they're acting out because they've been afraid for so long, and this is what it's turned into. And you can't really help them. There's nothing you can do. Fear is one of those things that all of us have to face our fears all by ourselves. You can't really get help from anyone. I mean, you can see a psychologist, but ultimately you're the one that has to face your fears and your demons. So the best thing you can do for people who are being mean and vicious is just try not to cause them more fear and kind of step away, because they only act in that way because they're afraid inside. And that's pretty much what I think about that. So what do y'all think? That's an interesting question. Oh, and back to the guy who won't wipe his butt. I read the whole article, and nowhere in the article do they give this woman any suggestions on what to do. So I don't understand why she wrote into them. These people are horrible at giving advice. And this other thing I read, which was pretty funny. This happened in Australia. These thieves, in the middle of the night, went over to a tourist bus and were going to siphon all the gas out of it. But they accidentally stuck the hose into the wrong opening and started trying to siphon sewage, and got a mouthful of all these people's crap and waste. Oh, finally, poetic justice is so awesome. God, what stupid people. And that happened in Australia. The shitty side of life. Ugh. Imagine siphoning gas and all of a sudden you get a mouthful of crap. Jeez Louise. Oh, that's nasty. Okay. So I've also got a couple of tweets that I've read recently about parenting that are really kind of amusing. This one is by Mark the Cat Whisperer. He says, accidentally asked a conference room full of coworkers if they had to go potty before the meeting, and my membership to the parent club auto-renewed itself. I'm glad I don't have kids. This one is by The Dad. Please invent socially acceptable yoga pants for dads. They look so comfy, and I'm so tired. Aw, poor guy. Yeah, I like this one. This is by Goldfish and Chicken Nuggets. My kids have been in bed for 30 minutes, and I have been scrolling social media and half-assedly watching Peppa Pig for 30 minutes without noticing, in case you were wondering what mom brain really does to you. Jeez, having kids really does a lot to your life. Okay, now, enough of the jokes for a little bit. How about a little bit of science? I found out a little bit of thing about what music does to you. And if you've ever had that spine-tingling, hair-raising reaction to music while you're listening to it, that actually has a name. It's called frisson. F-R-I-S-S-O-N. And it doesn't happen to everybody. It only happens to certain people with certain kinds of genetic markers. You can listen to music and you get goosebumps and stuff like that. You have a physical reaction to music, which is really interesting to me. I thought it was a fascinating read. But yeah, it just comes from a genetic marker in your DNA. Some people have it, some people can't. Like, I can roll my tongue into a circle. Not everybody can do that. I'm special that way. Other people aren't that special. That's kind of just the way the world goes. And here's some more interesting stuff that I've read lately. What's this one called? 7 words you should immediately stop using to describe yourself. Which, that kind of grabbed my attention, so I read it, and it was quite interesting. And the first thing you should stop saying when describing yourself or talking about yourself is alone. I mean, yeah, sometimes you feel alone, and sometimes you go through a breakup or whatever, and you feel lonely, but you're never alone. And if you're talking to somebody about how alone you feel, you're talking to somebody. You're not really alone. And if you actually start saying alone all the time when you're describing yourself, it's time to start reaching out to somebody and asking for some support and some help. There's plenty of people out there. So stop using the word alone, because you are not alone. And number 2, stupid. Don't use the word stupid when describing yourself. If you say to yourself that you're stupid, you're triggering a negative feeling about yourself, as well as negative thoughts about yourself. And too many negative thoughts about yourself can lead to a drop in self-confidence and self-esteem. Give yourself a little credit. Have a little compassion on yourself. I mean, I'm tempted to call myself stupid for some of the videos I've made on here. Some of them are a little lame, but I keep them up there because that's a part of the story of what I'm doing here. So yeah, never use the word stupid when talking about yourself. And don't use the word lazy when talking about yourself or to yourself, because you're pretty much not a habitually lazy person. You're probably just tired. And if you're an adult, I'm pretty sure you're probably just tired. Nobody's ever really that lazy. So yeah, number 3, don't use the word lazy when describing yourself. Alright, and next, this one I thought was pretty interesting, and I kind of have to check myself about doing this as well. Don't use the words just or only when talking about yourself. Like when asked what you do for a living, don't use the words just or only. I mean, you're not just a student. You're not only an assistant. You're not spending your weekends just hanging out with friends. Own who you are and what you do. These 2 simple words have the power to undermine how awesome you are. Own it. And besides, if you use those words a lot when talking about yourself, it kind of sounds like fake humility. And nobody wants that. And number 5, this one's kind of neat. Saying you're sorry all the time. Women in particular are in the habit of making themselves apologetic way too often. While saying that you're sorry may seem harmless and maybe even polite, you're probably saying it way more than it's necessary. So if you're kind of in the habit of saying, "Oh, I'm sorry," all the time, try replacing it with "thank you." Or like, "Thank you for your patience," instead of saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm late." Kind of simple and kind of stupid, but that's kind of how things are. So yeah, I can do that. When describing myself, stop saying sorry. And next, saying you're sensitive. "Oh, I'm sensitive." By labeling your thoughts and feelings as sensitive, you're not only judging yourself, but you're also instantly negating your thoughts and feelings. You don't owe it to everyone to justify your behavior. Instead, allow yourself to experience those emotions so you can move past them and enjoy reality and have fun. And the last one, probably the most powerful one, hopeless. I'm hopeless. Labeling yourself as hopeless. No matter how low your feelings are or how much you feel you need to grow or improve, never, ever label yourself as hopeless. Growing and learning is a far more positive and motivating, effective message than expressing, "I'm hopeless." You don't have to master everything straight out of the gate. Let yourself learn and grow. And don't beat yourself up over the little things. Little things happen all the time. You're never hopeless. People out there always love you. You're always wanted and needed. I really liked that little article. It was very uplifting. Made me feel good and made me think about things in a different way. I like learning about myself and trying to become a little bit better today than I was yesterday. Okay, let's lighten up. Back to some jokes. Here's another tweet I've read. "I stared into the abyss and the abyss told me it wasn't looking for anything serious. That's funny and stupid. I like it. Alright, here's another funny tweet from @art. The mirror industry is a total sham. The guy you think is you is probably just some mirror company employee in Cincinnati mugging at you. They make fun of you afterwards too. It really bothers me. People say the weirdest stuff. That was funny. Oh my gosh. Oh, this one is just so me. If you know me, this one really fits me to a T. If you ask me to give you a ride anywhere on less than 2 hours notice, you're going to be sitting in a pile of empty soda cans and bags of chips. If you've ever been in my car's a garbage can, pretty much. And whenever I clean, it's like, ooh, Trevor, you cleaned your car. It's like, yeah, I got the shovel out. It's clean. And it gets dirty, like, by the next day. There's always some kind of junk in my car. Or in my trunk. Got some junk in my trunk. Oh, here's another one that I find myself and my friends doing a lot. Your 40s are a magical time full of chronic tiredness and an inability to stop yourself from telling passengers what that building over there used to be when you were driving through town. I've done that. I have friends that have done that. I don't know why we feel the need. It's like, oh, I remember that building used to be that thing. And oh, remember when that one used to be painted with cats? Getting old is so much fun. Well, that's the end of that episode. I hope you enjoyed it. It was pretty fun. I enjoyed making it. And I have a special treat for you in our next video. I am taking you on a field trip. We are going to an art exhibit. It's called Inside Out, and I have been waiting for this for months. This woman is incredible. She takes gigantic pieces of paper and does these intricate line drawings and then cuts out the negative space. It's absolutely breathtaking, and I can't wait for us all to go and see it tomorrow. So that video will hopefully be up by Sunday. And I love you guys, and thanks for watching, and bye.